At first, violence shocks a society. People stop what they're doing. They talk about it. They feel fear, anger, disbelief. They say things like, "This is wrong. This can't continue. This is not who we are." But then it happens again, and again, and slowly, something changes. Not the violence itself, but the reaction to it. What once caused outrage becomes expected. What once felt impossible becomes familiar. This is not the story of a single war, regime, or ideology. It is the story of how violence becomes normal, and how ordinary people adapt to it without realizing what they are losing. No society begins by accepting violence. The first act always feels extreme. The first arrest without trial feels shocking. The first public beating feels unbearable. The first killing feels like a line that cannot be crossed. People react emotionally. They argue, they whisper, they protest, even quietly. History shows this moment again and again. There is always a phase when people believe the violence will stop, that it is temporary, that it is an exception, that someone will intervene. This belief is powerful, because as long as people believe violence is temporary, they tolerate it. Just a little longer. One of the most important truths in history is this: violence does not require mass hatred to survive. It requires adaptation. Most people do not wake up wanting harm. They wake up wanting stability, safety, and predictability. When violence appears, people ask, "How do I live with this?" Not, "How do I stop it?" This shift is subtle and dangerous, because once people focus on surviving violence instead of resisting it, violence gains permanence. Violence rarely arrives with brutal honesty. It arrives disguised. Language is its first weapon. Beatings become discipline. Arrests become security measures. Disappearances become relocations. Words soften reality, and softened reality feels manageable. When language changes, moral clarity disappears. People no longer discuss what is happening. They discuss how it is described. History shows that once violence is renamed, it becomes easier to ignore. Violence becomes far more dangerous when it gains authority. When violence is carried out by individuals, it feels criminal. When it is carried out by institutions, it feels official. Uniforms matter. Documents matter. Stamps and signatures matter. Once violence is authorized, people assume responsibility lies elsewhere. Someone else decided, someone else approved, someone else is accountable. This is how violence spreads without resistance, because no one feels personally responsible. As violence becomes structured, laws change. New rules appear. Slowly, some groups lose rights. Some protections quietly disappear. Some punishments become harsher. At this stage, people stop asking, "Is this wrong?" They start asking, "Is this legal?" This is one of history's most dangerous moments, because legality feels safe. If something is legal, people assume it must be justified. Morality fades into procedure. Human beings are not designed to feel constant outrage. When violence is repeated daily, emotional response weakens. At first, people feel horror, then discomfort, then fatigue, then nothing. Arrests become routine. Public humiliation becomes background noise. Deaths become numbers. This is not cruelty. It is psychological survival. But survival comes at a cost. Empathy erodes. And without empathy, violence no longer needs justification. Violence spreads fastest when it feels distant, when it targets others, enemies, outsiders. People reassure themselves, "It doesn't affect me. I should stay out of it. At least I'm safe." This belief creates separation, and separation allows violence to grow without resistance. History shows that once people believe violence will stop at someone else, they stop paying attention. As violence becomes normal, fear replaces outrage. People learn speaking out is dangerous. Asking questions attracts attention. Silence feels safer. Neighbors stop talking openly. Friends avoid sensitive topics. Trust disappears. Society does not collapse loudly. It collapses quietly, through fear, caution, and self-preservation. After violence ends, people ask, "Why didn't anyone resist?" This question misunderstands human behavior. Resistance is clear in hindsight. In the moment, it feels risky, lonely, and uncertain. Most people are not heroes. They are parents, workers, neighbors. They adapt because adaptation feels safer than confrontation. Violence becomes normal when survival becomes more important than justice. Violence does not begin with weapons. It begins with silence. It grows when words lose their meaning, laws lose their morality, people stop reacting. History does not repeat itself exactly, but the pattern never changes. When violence becomes ordinary, it no longer needs force to continue, only acceptance. Rapid history, the past told fast.